Hola, thank you for being here and thank you for invest time and energy on your own health, because now we know how important is our health for others. So thank you. And this session is an invitation for detoxifying or cleanliness. We know these days how important it is to keep washing our hands, keep cleaning the spaces, but it's important as well to do the same with our mind. And how we do that? Well, this is the class about, this is what we will explore during the class, and let's try to enjoy it, do as much or as little as it feels right for you, and let's practice saucha, that is the name of cleanliness in the yoga tradition. So let's start just lying down on the ground and then bring the feet as wide as the mat. Rest one knee towards the other so you don't have any muscular tension on the legs. Keep the spine neutral. And then with the inhalation, bring the arms up and then gently rest your shoulder blades on the ground. Rest the hands on the opposite elbow. And then with the exhalation, release the arms on the ground. Gently press the elbows away from the body, but keep the shoulders soft. So you start to notice, or maybe you start to notice, that lengthening of the spine. Start to connect with your own breath. Notice the inhalations, the exhalations, and just notice the breath without trying to control or change your breath. Just bring awareness towards your own breath. And then, as I mentioned, this class is about, let's say, mental hygiene. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, please just bring to your mind some kind of joyful activity, something that you love doing, that it's simple and natural, something like dancing, singing, playing an instrument, writing. I love the sunsets here. Something that it's not too complicated, but when you think about it, it just brings joy. So try to allow that nice energy to feel your body and to feel kind of the emotions in your body. Maybe bring a smile and try to keep rooted into that nice joyful feeling. And then with the inhalation, bring the arms up, exchange the cross of the forearms, and then with the exhalation again, release the arms on the ground. And then bring the sole of the feet together, press one foot towards the other, and then release the knees towards the ground. Keep pressing the sole of the feet together so you keep a very gentle engagement on the inner thighs. Keep the spine neutral. Keep your tailbone gently pressing towards the heels and the elbows away from the shoulders, shoulders soft. And then keep the connection with your breath and with that nice joyful feeling. And as I mentioned, we know how to keep our body clean. We know how important it is not to keep cleaning the spaces around us, but we should a little bit the same with our mind. And it is not always an easy task because I think we don't have too much education about it. But one thing first is just recognize that our emotions are helpful, even anger or sadness sometimes are necessary. The thing is, they become toxic when we stay too longer with it, or when we just keep too long into the anger or into the sadness, and then the emotions or the thoughts become toxic. So it is important to recognize when we are dedicating too much time and energy to negative emotions, negative thoughts. And one of the recommendations in the yoga tradition is try to replace the negative thoughts, negative emotions with some more joyful, happy. or at least stillness and quietness. From quietness and stillness we can take and we can just make wiser choices. So just be aware about that, because these days we can fall easily into anxiety, fear, the fear of the unknown. So when you notice that you are lingering too long into that kind of toxic emotions, or when they become toxic, then just try to go back to a joyful thought, and just remember that you can find solutions. You have your mind, you have creativity, your intelligence is beyond the problems, the circumstances, and then you can always go back to a joyful thought. That is a nice way to practice ausha, cleanliness, and some kind of hygiene in your mind. So maybe keep that nice smile, that nice feeling of one activity, one hobby, something that you like a lot. And then with the next exhalation, let's bring the arms along the body. Let's bring the knees up, hug your knees, roll left and right. And then just release the body towards one side of the mat. Press one hand on the ground and slowly bring your body up. So, let's cross the legs. Rest the hands on the knees, keep the shoulders soft and the spine long. And my invitation is to keep that connection with your joyful thought, with your joyful emotion during the class. It is important to cultivate as well inner joy and cleanliness in your mind, not only in your body. The practice is designed to bring some detoxification into the body, but also into the mind. So let's start with one Om together. If you don't want to chant Om, fine, then maybe take a long exhalation. Bring the hands in front of the heart center, keep your shoulders soft, close your eyes and take a deep inhalation. Gently release the hands on the knees, bow the head. Try to keep a nice state of mind during the class. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. So let's start cross-legged, but let's exchange the cross of the shins. And let's start to make circles with the spine. So with the inhalation, bring the torso forward towards one knee. Lengthen the spine, then towards the other knee. And with the exhalation, round your spine, go back. Inhale, chest towards one knee, then towards the other. With the exhalation, shin towards the chest, round your spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, round your back. Inhale. Move forward towards one knee and then towards the other. And then exhale, chin to the chest. When you finish the next round, let's exchange the direction of the circles and the movement. We'll keep the same dynamic. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften, bring the navel towards the spine. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, round the spine. And when you finish the next round, let's stay with the spine long. And then I'm going to mirror you. Let's keep the left hand on the ground. Inhale, bring the right arm up. And then with the exhalation, bring the chest towards the left knee. And then slowly move the chest, the arms towards the right knee. And then with the inhalation, extend your left arm towards the right, the chest bone up towards the sky, right hand on the ground. And then with the exhalation, let's reverse the movement. So you bring the chest towards the right knee, then towards the left knee, bring the arms into the movement. And then with the inhalation, Keep the left hand on the ground, extend the right arm towards the left, open the chest, and once again, with the inhalation, bring the chest towards the left knee, extend the arms, then move the chest, the arms towards the right knee, keep the right arm on the ground, and then extend the left arm towards the right, open the chest, lengthen the left side of the torso, and then exhale. Let's reverse the movement. Just keep the chest towards the front, move the arms, keep your left hand on the ground, and then open the right arm, right hand reaching towards the front of the mat, towards the left, open the chest towards the sky, and then with the exhalation, let's release the hands on the ground, and then stay looking towards the screen. Probably I'm going to change so you can look at me. So just keep the knees down, soften the shins, bring the hands behind the back, and bring the chest bone forward, up, and then maybe you bring the hips as well away from the floor. Try to create a space in the front side of the torso. Avoid compression on the back, and then with the exhalation, release the hips down on the ground. So now, let's make the way to all fours. So keep the hands below your shoulders and the knees below the hips. Then a very gentle flow with the inhalation, navel down, sitting bones up, chest forward, chin up, and then with the exhalation, chin towards the chest, navel towards the spine in cat. Inhale, slowly arch your back, navel down, chest forward, chin up, shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, chin to the chest, navel towards the spine, round your back. And then let's go to neutral spine. Let's bring the hands slightly in front of the shoulders. Make sure you spread your fingers. You keep the inner elbows pointing towards the thumbs, not too much towards the front. This is not very healthy for me, especially if you hyperextend the arms. Just keep the inner elbows facing towards the thumbs, one towards the other. And then let's press the toes down on the ground, press the upper body away from the floor, and bring the knees away from the floor. So just notice the engagement on the abdominal wall. Just try to keep that nice engagement during the practice. And then with the next exhalation, bring the hips a little bit higher, but bring the chest bone, the torso towards your thighs. Keep the sitting bones as high as you can. Keep pressing the armpits away from the floor, the hands away from the floor. And then with the exhalation, extend the legs. So move the knees away from the chest, straighten the legs. And then let's bring some movement on the legs. Bend to a knee, straighten the opposite leg. If you want, you can bring the feet a little bit wider than the hips. And just allow to move the knees, legs, the ankles, the hips, and the pelvis. Maybe slightly the shoulders as well. Just start to prepare the body, the joints, the ligaments, the spine, muscles for the practice. So move organically and nicely, slowly. We are not in a rush. And then with the next inhalations, heels high, sitting bones high, the front of the body away from the floor, and then keep the spine long. With the exhalation, bring the heels close to the ground. Keep the neck long. Try to notice that you don't put too much weight on your wrist. This is what you want, that engagement on the abdominal wall, pressing the armpits away from the floor. And you feel supported, and you enjoy the stretching in the back of the body. So with the exhalation, let's bring the knees down on the ground. Let's bring the heels up. Then with the exhalation, roll a little bit forward, elbows in. Let's bring the body halfway down in this version of chaturanga. And then inhale, bring the arms up. We need the strength in the practice. And then exhale, your body halfway down. And then inhale up. And then with the next exhalation, slowly bring your torso down towards the ground. Just keep looking down. And then just bring the shoulders away from the ground. Maybe a little bit higher than the ears. And then now with the inhalation, chin away from the chest, feet away from the floor, and then let's bring the hands away from the floor as well. Like this. And the neck is long. Keep pressing the pubic bone towards the ground. Engage the muscles in the back of your body. And then let's release the hands down. Let's make the way to child pose. And then let's enjoy a little flow. So with the inhalations, you make the way to all fours. Heels up. Exhale, your body down. Inhale, baby cobra or Svasana. And then exhale, child pose. And then inhale, let's make the way to all fours, heels up. Exhale, your body down, close to the ground. Inhale, chest forward up, baby cobra, Svasana. This time let's interlace the hands behind the back. So really notice the shoulder moving away from the ears, away from the floor. And then exhale, release the hands below the shoulders. This time tap the toes and let's make the way to downward facing dog. Again, move your legs one leg at a time. And then keep the heels reaching down. Notice the stretching the back of your body. Keep the neck long. And maybe for a moment, bring that joyful thought into your mind or joyful emotions. Especially if the pose is challenging. Let's bring some joy to release a little bit of the tension. So now look between the thumbs and let's walk towards the front of the mat. So just keep the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Rest the hands on the opposite elbow. And then allow the torso to be long, to roll towards the left and right. Allow the sitting bones to be high. Soften the knees, all you need. Try to keep some gentle stretch on the back of the legs, on your hamstrings, on the back. And then with the exhalation, release the hands down on the ground, soften the knees, and then with the inhalation, slowly bring your torso up. Let's bring the arms up in Hastasana. Just reach up. If you want, bring the heels away from the floor, soften the knees, and then maybe close your eyes. A little bit of challenging the balance, just sharpening your balance. Preparing yourself for the practice, for the rest of the practice. And then exhale, open the eyes. Let's bring the heels down on the ground. And then with the exhalation, soften the knee. Hinge from the hips, bring the torso parallel to the floor. Hands down on the ground. Inhale, hands on the shins, torso long. Just lengthen the spine. By pressing the crown of the head forward, your sitting bones back. And then exhale, release the hands down. And let's bring the right leg back. And let's keep the right knee away from the floor. Firm the abdominal. And with the inhalation, let's bring the arms up. Let's make the way to high lunge. If it's too much and if you need to adjust for a moment the pose, you can keep the back knee down on the floor. You can keep it away from the floor. The front knee is lying with the heel, tracking over the second toe. tailbone towards the ground. So you have long lower back, pubic bone towards the navel. And you notice that lengthening on the side of the body, shoulders soft and neck long. And maybe the next inhalation, extend the legs and let's go towards the second side. Maybe you need to adjust your right foot towards the right. Again, if you need to go to the floor for a moment to adjust the front leg, fine. Maybe stay with the knee down and keep that nice lengthening on your torso. Legs are strong, the inner thighs are pressing towards the midline and the front knee aligned with your second toe with the heel. And then with the exhalation, let's release the hands down on the ground and let's make the way to plank position. So I want you to connect with your plank for a moment, just to notice your own inner strength. Whenever you need, you can release the knees down, but try to engage the muscles, even if it's for a moment. Try to notice that strength that we all have. Sometimes we need a little bit of more commitment, more work on the strength, but we have it. So just try to press the armpits away from the floor. If you have the knees down, fine. If you have the knees away from the floor, great. Press the heels back, crown of the head forward. Try to notice that you are not collapsing the weight of your upper body on the wrists. And then let's release the knees down, heels up. And then with the exhalation, chaturanga, your torso halfway down. And then with the inhalation, cobra. So maybe stay in baby cobra like we were doing before with the hands away from the floor. Maybe stay in cobra, make sure you keep pressing the armpits away from the floor so you don't collapse the shoulders, the neck. Or maybe upward facing dog. So try to notice your sternum is moving forward up. The pubic bone towards the ground, gently engage your glutes. So you notice the stretching on the front of the body without any contraction in the lower back or in the back of your body. And then with the exhalation, make the way to downward facing dog. And then move one leg at a time. So bend one knee, straighten the opposite leg. And enjoy the movement. Whenever you need to bring the knees down, fine. Make sure you protect your wrist by pressing the upper body away from the floor. Bringing the hips high away from the floor towards the sky. And then with the next exhalation, both heels down. So you have two options. One, bring the knees towards the ground and then bring the left knee towards the nose, left foot between the hands. Or you can stay in downward facing dog and bring your left leg as high as you can, keeping the hips facing towards the ground, heel away from the hips. And then knee towards the nose and the foot between the hands. The back knee away from the floor. And then with the inhalation, let's bring the body up. So we go to horse position. We want the toes pointing towards the corners of the mat. And then we bend the knees. And the knees again, have the intention to track the second toe. What we don't want is the knees falling inwards. So with the inhalation, bring the arms up and then bring the heels away from the floor. If it feels right for you. If it's not right, then just keep the heels down. Make sure the knees are not falling inwards. That is the important part. Keep the torso long. And then let's bring the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers. Bring the heels down. And then with the inhalation, lengthen the torso. With the exhalation, imagine you want to bring your left elbow. I'm going to mirror you then. Right elbow towards the right knee, open the chest. So the left elbow is pointing up. And then inhale, bring the torso up. Exhale. Now the left elbow towards the left knee, open the chest. Right elbow pointing up. And then inhale, bring the torso up. Extend the arms. And then with the exhalation, this time bring your right elbow towards the right knee, open the chest and extend
your left arm towards the right side, towards the right knee. Keep opening the chest, try to keep the hips centered. And then inhale, torso up. Exhale, second side, rest the left elbow on the left knee, extend your right arm, open the chest. And once again, inhale, let's bring the arms up. You want to take a moment for a rest. And then exhale, bend the knees. And then this time, let's bring the right arm inside of the right leg. If you need to rest the elbow, fine. If you can keep the right arm inside of the right leg. And then open the left side of the body. Inhale, bring the arms up, and then exhale, second side. You keep the left arm inside of the left leg. You notice the strength on the inner thighs. And you extend the right arm towards the left. Inhale, bring the arms up, legs up, and then let's go to warrior two. That it means your front foot, let's mirroring you, left foot parallel to the shoulder of the mat, right foot pointing towards the back of the mat. With the inhalation, open the arms, keep the shoulders soft. And then with the exhalation, the front knee is moving towards the back of the mat, towards the second toe. Keep the knee aligned with the hip and keep the back inner thighs pressing away from the floor. Look towards the right hand and maybe bring the right heel away from the floor. Try to keep pressing your left upper thigh away from the side of the mat. So pressing back. Try to open the hips. And then with the inhalation, let's bring the left hand behind the back towards the right hip. You can keep the front heel down, up. And let's extend the right arm towards the left foot. And reverse warrior. And then exhale. Let's bring the right arm inside of the right leg. Or you can rest your right elbow on the right knee. Whatever it feels right for you. This time maybe keep the front heel down on the ground and open the chest. Just keep the back thighs, inner thighs pressing away from the floor. And then with the inhalation, let's go again to reverse warrior. Maybe this time rest the left hand gently on the left leg. And then with the inhalation, bring the legs up, extend both legs. Extend the arms, we go to Trikonasana, so reach towards your right foot. Keep a space on the right side of the torso and then rest your right hand inside of the right shin. Open the chest and rotate the rib cage up towards the sky. Your left hand is reaching up towards the sky. If you feel really comfortable and stable here, maybe bring the right toes away from the floor, or maybe not. Just take the challenge a little bit playfully. And then with the inhalation, soften the knees. Let's bring the arms up. Let's bring the feet parallel, one towards the other, and let's bring the heels away from the floor. Soften the knees and maybe close your eyes. And then with the exhalation, open the eyes, heels down, bring the hands in front of the heart center, bring the hands on the hips, and then with the exhalation, send your hips back and bring the torso parallel to the ground. Soften the knees if you need so. Keep the crown of the head moving away from the hips. And then let's bring the left hand down on the ground, move the chest bone, the rib cage towards the right leg. Extend your right arm up. And this version of Padottanasana, Parivrita Padottanasana. And then exhale. Let's release the right hand down. Move the rib cage towards the left leg. Extend the left arm up. And try to move the right shoulder away from the right hip. So the right hip is moving back. We keep the hips more or less even. Crown of the head forward.
And then exhale, release the hands, both hands down. Rest the hands on the opposite elbow, exchange the cross of the forearms, so this time it feels unfamiliar. Then allow the torso to be long. Allow the legs to be strong, the sitting bones to reach up. And then with the exhalation, release the hands down on the ground. Soften the knees, bring the hands on the hips. And with the inhalation, bring your torso up. So let's go to warrior 2 on the second side. Keep your right foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, pressing the outside of the back foot down. The right toes forward, like 90 degrees. With the inhalation, open the arms, hands away from the chest, shoulders soft. With the exhalation, bend the front knee. Just adjust the feet, adjust the legs. So you want the knee aligned with the heel, tracking the second toe. You should be able to see the big toe. And then maybe go a little bit deeper. Maybe bring your left heel away from the floor if it feels right. With the inhalation, your left hand up, right hand behind the back towards your left hip. With the exhalation, your left hand towards the back foot, towards the right leg, creating a space on the left side of your torso. And then with the exhalation, warrior 2 for a moment. Let's keep, the right hand behind the back, and let's bring the left arm inside of the left leg, maybe the front heel down on the ground. If you need to rest the elbow on the knee, fine. Maybe keep extending your left arm inside of the left leg, but open the chest. Your sternum is pointing up towards the sky, the back in the thighs away from the floor. And the hips moving maybe closer to the ground. Inner thighs are strong. And then with the inhalation, let's go to reverse warrior. And then with the exhalation, again, extend the arms, extend the front leg. So maybe you need to adjust the legs a little bit. I'm going to do it. So shoulders soft. Keep reaching now the left hand towards the front of the mat. Rest your left hand inside of the left shin. Open the chest and extend your right arm up. Try to keep both sides of the torso long. Crown of the head reaching forward. Make sure you don't collapse the head. And if it feels really stable there, maybe bring the front toes, your left toes away from the floor. To give yourself a playful self-challenge. And then with the exhalation, let's release the hands down on the ground towards the front of the mat. And let's make the way to plank position. So again, notice your plank. Whenever you need, bring the knees down. But give yourself a little bit of time, patience, and as well the opportunity to connect with your inner strength. To develop the strength as well. So let's bring the knees down on the ground, heels up. With the exhalation, chest forward, elbows in, your torso halfway down. With the inhalation, cobra, upward facing dog, or maybe cobra, if that is what it works for you today. But try to create that space on the neck. Press the armpits away from the floor. Chest bone forward. The top of the feet strongly pressing down. And try to find that place where you enjoy the pose, rather than suffer it or cause you any harm. And then with the exhalation, let's make the way to downward facing dog. But this time, let's bring the knees down on the ground. Big toes together, knees as wide as the mat. Hips towards the heels, and let's make the way to child pose for a moment. To keep the arms towards the front of the mat, keep your hips heavy. And then take a moment to notice things. How is your breath? And how is the rhythm of the heart? If it's too fast, fine, fair enough, we have been moving and challenging ourselves. But then breathe slowly and try to bring your heart again to a normal rhythm. We try to keep the breath steady, to keep the heart in a normal pace. Because we don't want to activate adrenaline. When your heart is pumping too fast, then you start to create adrenaline. We don't want that. Adrenaline contracts the muscles, and what you want is relax to allow the muscles to stretch deeper. And we are cultivating as well nice state of mind. We have adrenaline in the rest of the day, in the rest of the world. So here on the mat, let's try to cultivate that relaxation. We move, we do the things, but from stillness. Try to keep the breath soft. And try to connect as well with your joyful feeling thought. That it will help you to go faster into relaxation. You start to create a nice biochemistry, you start to release nice hormones, nice substances into your body. So this is why it's nice as well to create that kind of positive or at least still states of mind. And then when you are ready, slowly, let's make the way to downward facing dog. So just keep spreading the fingers, the toes, slowly and with control, bring the hips as high as you can. And then enjoy that nice lengthening on the back of your body. And feel the engagement in the front of the body. So keep pressing the front of the body away from the floor. Maybe soften the knees. And then look between the thumbs and walk towards the front of your mat. So let's bring the feet together this time. Then with the inhalation, let's bring the arms up. Urvahastasana, and then with the exhalation, Utkatasana. So share position, press the hips back, keep the arms along the ears. Imagine you have a balloon below your torso, so it's supporting that diagonally forward direction that you have on the torso. And then bring the hands in front of the heart center. We're going to twist, so bring your right elbow outside of the left knee. Bring the torso towards the thumbs and keep the crown of the head reaching forward. So you keep the torso long. Try to not collapse the torso on your thighs. Keep space between the torso and the thighs. And then now look down. We go to challenging, well, a little challenge for some of you, bigger challenge for some others. Wherever it feels right for you, do the best you can. Let's start to bring, you look down and start to bring all the weight on your left foot. Bring the right heel away from the floor. Keep the crown of the head forward, pressing the torso away from the floor. And then let's bring the right foot towards the back of the mat. So twisted high lunge. Maybe you need to bring the back knee down on the floor for a moment to adjust the pose. To make sure the torso is not collapsing, you keep pressing the torso away from the floor, heart center towards the thumbs, and the left elbow is pointing up. Maybe look up for a moment, maybe keep your right knee down on the floor, maybe bring it away from the floor. And then with the inhalation, let's bring the arms up, extend both legs, and let's bring the back leg a little bit closer towards the front foot. And let's bring the back heel away from the floor, front toes away from the floor. So a little bit of balance again. Oops. Just try to reach up with the hands, maybe soften the knees a little bit. And then with the exhalation, both feet flat on the ground. Let's bring the hands behind the back towards the opposite elbow. Well, two options. You can keep the hands on the opposite elbow, or you can bring the hand in inverse prayer, but make sure you bring the movement from the shoulders. So the shoulders are moving back down, you create a space on the upper torso,
And then with the inhalation, chest up, lower ribs in. With the exhalation, bring the torso parallel to the floor. Just lengthen the spine. And with the next exhalation, let's bring the torso as close as you can towards your left foot. And then soften the head. We are in Svasana. Back heel strongly pressing down, both legs straight, shoulders away from the ears, torso long. And then with the inhalation, bring your torso up. Let's bring the right arm up. Keep the left hand on the lower back. And then exhale again, bring the torso parallel to the floor. We go Parivrita Trikonasana. That means you twist the rib cage towards the left and you rest the right hand outside of the left shin. You can stay a little bit higher, a little bit lower, wherever you feel stable. And then you can bring the rib cage towards the left, moving the crown of the head forward. Find stability there, and then maybe extend your left arm up, or maybe not. It's more challenging than it looks. It's a little bit of balance, the twist, and try to find stability, but also try to enjoy the pose, the twist. And then with the exhalation, let's bring both hands on the ground. Soften the back knee, and then with the inhalation, let's bring the right leg away from the floor. To go a little bit back. And keep the right heel pressing away from the right hip. And now stay here, or keep your right hand on the ground. Twist the rib cage again towards the left, and maybe extend the left arm up. And revolve it. Ardha Chandrasana, Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. So a twisted balance. Play with it again. Maybe keep both hands down on the floor. Keep your right leg as high as you can, but away from your hip. And then with the exhalation, release the right foot back, down on the floor. And then with the inhalation, let's bring the arms up and let's face towards the back of the mat. So again, bring your front foot, your front toes away from the floor, the back heel away from the floor. Just keep a little bit of playfulness with this. Maybe close your eyes. And then with the exhalation, let's bring the hands down on the ground and let's make the way to plank position. So for this plank, you should make wise choices. Maybe knees down, heels up, and then this version of Chaturanga. Or maybe the full version of Chaturanga, roll your body forward, elbows aligned with, shoulders aligned with the tip of the fingers, elbows in, all the body parallel to the ground, maybe knees down now. And then with the inhalation, Cobra, legs on the ground, upward facing dog. Rib bone towards the ground, armpits pressing away from the floor, neck long, your glutes gently engaged. And then with the exhalation, let's make the way to downward facing dog. Bend one leg, straighten the opposite. And then now let's look between the thumbs and let's walk towards the back of the mat, towards the front, towards the hands. And then let's bring the feet together. Take a moment to notice the torso long, legs strong, sitting bones as high as you can. Take a little moment to release tension, overthinking, overanalyzing, toxic thought, if you have any, hopefully not. And then with the inhalation, slowly bring your body up, arms up in Urdhva. Just lengthen all your body, and then with the exhalation, Utkatasana. So your inner thighs are pressing one towards the other, but don't allow the knees to fall inwards, and try to see it on the outer hips. Let's bring the hands in front of the heart center. Find your strength on the legs. Find the lengthening on the spine. And then with the exhalation, let's twist towards the right leg and rest your left elbow outside of the right knee. So keep your torso long, crown of the head reaching forward, your right elbow pointing up. And then now let's look down. Okay, maybe it's challenging, maybe it's not that challenging. Just find a stability, keep the torso pressing away from the floor, and bring your left heel away from the ground and bring the left leg towards the back of the mat. So maybe release the knee down to adjust the pose to make sure your torso is not collapsing. You keep the heart center pointing towards the thumbs, your right elbow up, and then maybe keep the back knee down on the floor, or maybe bring it away from the floor. Find that place where you enjoy the pose. And then with the exhalation, look down. With the inhalation, let's bring the arms up. Let's go to this playful balance. So keep the legs straight, arms up. Front toes away from the floor, back heel away from the floor. Reach up with the hand. Keep the navel gently in and up. And then with the exhalation, both feet flat on the floor. Let's bring the hands behind the back. The version that you took before, maybe interlace your forearms, but make sure you exchange the cross of the forearms. Or maybe go to inverse prayer. Make sure the movement comes from your shoulders. You don't have any discomfort on your elbows. The palms are together. And the upper chest is opening, the lower ribs in. The feet, if you want, as wide as the hips. With the inhalation, chest up. With the exhalation, torso parallel to the floor. So let's make the way to Svasana on the second side. Crown of the head reaching forward. And then with the exhalation, bend over your right leg. Again, lengthen the spine. Try to keep both legs straight, strong. Back heel heavy on the ground. Your elbows away from the floor. Shoulders away from the ears. And then with the inhalation, bring your torso up, firming the abdominals. And let's go to Parivrtta Trikonasana. So rest the right hand on the hip. Bring the left arm up. With the inhalation, reach up. With the exhalation, bring your torso parallel to the ground. So first, lengthen the spine. And then with the next exhalation, rest your left hand outside of your right leg. Rotate the torso towards the right leg, but keep the crown of the head reaching forward. So you have a straight line on the spine from the crown of the head to the center of the pelvis. Rotate the rib cage towards the right and maybe extend your right arm up. Find stability in Parivrtta Trikonasana. Find strength, stability, steadiness, and hopefully as well as stillness. And then with the exhalation, let's release the hands down on the ground. Let's bring the left leg away from the floor. So you can stay here in this version of Warrior 3. Or maybe keep the left hand down on the ground below the left shoulder. Rotate the rib cage towards the right and maybe extend your right arm up. So explore the pose and find a place that it's enjoyable. It's a little bit like self-challenge, but also enjoyable. And then with the exhalation, release the back foot down. Hands down with the inhalation. Bring the arms up. Let's face again towards the front of the mat. front toes away from the floor, back heel away from the floor, and then maybe this time the arms up. Maybe this time you can close your eyes, have a long blink. And then with the exhalation, let's release the hands down on the ground and let's make the way to plank position. So just keep pressing the front of the body away from the floor. You can take chaturanga with the knees down or with the knees away from the floor. Just try to make wise choices, healthy choices. So with the exhalation, roll your shoulders forward, body forward. With the exhalation, elbows in, your body parallel to the ground. And then with the inhalation, cobra or upward facing dog or baby cobra. Just adapt the practice. It's your body, your journey, your choices. And then with the exhalation, let's make the way to child pose. And then maybe bring the hands towards your feet. Just find that place where you can relax. You can soften. You can release overthinking, analyzing. You can breathe steadily, slowly. And for a moment, try to cultivate stillness. Let it go. Just like lightness. Forget about the past, the planning for the future, the anxiety or the fear for the future. Just for a moment, stay totally rooted into your breath, maybe into your joyful thought. Try to become familiar with that feeling and that sensation of stillness, joy, lightness. And then with the inhalation, slowly bring your torso up. So we are trying to cultivate stillness in the inhalation, stillness in the exhalation, in the happy times, in the challenging times. So the last challenge, you do the best you can. Let's go to plank position. Maybe it's challenging for some of you, maybe not. Things are different for all of us, as we all are unique. So just find your plank again, the strength on the plank. Keep pressing the armpits away from the floor and maybe bring your right foot away from the floor. Keep the toes pointing down and the heel away from the hip. And then let's exchange. So bring the left leg, left foot away from the floor, but the heel pressing back. Crown of the head forward. And then now right hand, start with the tip of the fingers. Maybe extend your right arm forward, maybe not. Release that hand, and then second hand, your left arm reaching forward, or maybe just keep the hand on the tip of the fingers. And then let's go to plank. Whenever you need, you release the knees down. Then maybe the right foot away from the floor. Maybe left hand on the tip of the fingers, or maybe the left arm towards the front of the mat. Imagine you have a balloon below your torso. And then let's release that side, second side. So left foot away from the floor, maybe the right hand on the tip of the fingers, or maybe you extend the arm and the leg and try to keep the torso more or less parallel to the ground. And then release the hands, release the feet, and let's go again to child pose. And again, release tension, unnecessary tension. We need some tension, we need some engagement, but not too much. And now that it's time, softening in child pose, just release. Try to feel safe on the earth. Mother Earth is taking the weight of your body.
Try to soften, release, and try to enjoy that feeling of lightness, releasing burdens of the past, of the planning, the anxiety, the overwhelming. Just for a moment, go back to your breath, to your joyful thought, and try to become familiar with that feeling of stillness. Our practice, our yoga practice, is not just a physical practice. It's helping us to connect with the present moment, with our inner strength, with our trust, help us to detoxify our body, our mind, to just enjoy all that nice benefits of the practice. And then with the inhalation, bring your torso up, and then let's sit. And actually let's lie down. And then just enjoy being down. So let's bring the knees up, hug your knees, roll the knees left and right. And then exchange the circle, exchange the direction of your circle, just move towards one side and the other. And then to finish with relaxation, let's go to Viparita Karani. So bring the feet up towards the sky. Let's bring the arms up, pressing the shoulder blades on the ground, and then extend the arms towards the back of the mat. So maybe stay here, you can soften the knees, but try to give yourself some moment of deep relaxation. When your legs are above the heart, your brain knows that you can't run or fly or hide. So it automatically switches into relaxation. And this is what we want now, deep relaxation. So just soften the body. You notice your abdominals naturally engaged, but it shouldn't be too hard. If it's too hard, then soften the knees. Breathe slowly. And then just to finish, let's go for a moment to bridge position, to stretch the front of the body in a nice way. So just release the shoulders down on the ground, arms along your body, knees as wide as the hip, the feet as wide as the hips. And then with the inhalation, bring your navel up, hips up, and maybe interlace your hands below the back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, the shoulder blades towards the center of the spine. Pubic bone up, navel up, chest towards the chin. Maybe you notice the neck is long, the back of the body is engaged, the glutes are gently engaged, and the front of the body has a nice stretching. And then with the exhalation, slowly release your hips down on the ground, hug your knees, and let's make the way to Svasana, delicious Svasana after all the work, the movement. So you can keep the knees up, the feet as wide as the mat, and rest one knee towards the other, just like when we started. So you don't have any muscular tension on the legs. Or you can extend the feet towards the front of the mat, allow the toes to fall towards the outside of the mat. Keep the arms along the body, palms facing up. And then just now, soften, release tension. And just allow your body to be soft. This is really important. This is a very important part of the practice, even you are lying down, because we are bringing balance. After all the movement, you want some quietness, stillness. And this part is more challenging for your mind than for your body. Now your body can rest, your body can absorb all the movement all the transformation. It can rest. And then you have the space to focus the attention into the breath and to bring space and stillness as well into your mind. So just allow your body to rest, to be soft, to kind of feeling like melting into the ground. And allow your mind to be focused into the breath. When you notice the thoughts comes to distract you, just breathe them out. Don't resist your own mind, but don't get engaged in any self-talk, at least for these minutes of Shavasana. So allow the body to rest and allow the mind to be quiet and silent. Slowly, slowly. Bring awareness to your body. Start to your toes, your fingers, your arms, your legs. I'm going to stretch the arms. Give a nice stretch to your beautiful body. Draw the knees to the chest. Hug your knees, roll left and right. And when you are ready, roll towards one side of the mat. Make the way up to a sitting position. Cross the legs. Press the hands on the knees. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your breath soft. And take a moment to enjoy the stillness, to enjoy the silence. Maybe bring again that nice feeling, thought into your heart, into your mind. Just allow that nice energy kind of to flow all over your body, flow all over your energy. Enjoy that nice feeling. Just try to cultivate it, try to go back anytime you need it, anytime you notice that you are feeling or you are cultivating toxic thoughts, toxic emotions. Just try to go to this place of stillness, and from stillness it's easier to move into joy. Let's bring the hands in front of the heart center. Let's chant one last time to finish the session. So take a deep inhalation. Rub your hands one against the other. Bring the hands in front of your eyes. Then gently open your eyes. Release the hands. Take that nice feeling with you to the rest of the day as long as you can. And have a beautiful rest of the day. Namaste.